today is Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, and Frank has been a longtime supporter of this channel, and he finally started his own channel, Frank's Media and Reviews. And me and Frank have never really had a conversation actually in person like this before. This is really the first time, so I really wanted to get to know Frank, just like you guys are going to get to know Frank. So Frank, tell him a little bit about yourself, man.
Thanks. Thanks, John. I just started about a month ago, and this is something that I've wanted to do for a couple of years, but I've just been too, honestly, just been too afraid to start that adventure. I talked with you, John, actually kind of getting serious, and you've been very supportive and helpful through the process. So thank you so much, and so far, pretty enjoyable experiences, and I great interactions with the physical media community, and so yeah, it's been great experience so far.
Yeah, it is. The physical media community is actually one of the better communities. I know you're big on the artist formerly known as Twitter. Like, that's usually where I do all my talking with you. And, you hear about how toxic it is, but really, the people who support physical media, they all seem pretty cool and pretty nice, and they support each other. And, none of that, like, hostility that you hear from other places.
Yeah, I've met actually some really close friends. What made me really like Twitter was I just found friends who not only were Niner fans, but also the same people were big into horror films, and so we kind of started our own horror community, and we've been really good friends for I think 5 or 6 years. It's been a long time, and so the past couple years, I want to say maybe a year and a half, I really started to get outside and want to discover more of the horror community, and that's where I met a lot of friends through the horror community.
Yeah, the horror community actually goes really deep, and that's one thing when I first learned about, when I first got on Twitter, is I found out I didn't know as much about horror as I thought I did.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things about the horror genre, is that there's so many subgenres that you don't even know, or you didn't know how big that even subgenre was, and so that's what, like I said, I've met a lot of people on Twitter who have recommended a ton of great movies. One of them was actually, I recommended it to you, The Dark and the Wicked. Never even
Yes.
heard of it because it came out during the pandemic, 2020, and totally just missed it. And one of my friends mentioned it to me, and I loved that damn film. It's so good, man.
Oh my god, it is fantastic. It really is a great film. That was one that you recommended it to me, and the Wailing, the one you recommended recently.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It is so
Yeah.
good, and I mean the 4K Blu-ray is great too. It's a great 4K.
Yeah, and you actually pointed out too on your review. Check out the review. Was that on the Dolby Atmos? There is no Dolby Atmos, even though it's listed, and it just reminds me of some of the misprints and the labeling that some of the labels have done, like Scream Factory, and stuff like that. I don't know if it's just they're just rushed into production or whatever. I don't know, but
Have you shipped 1 million of those things? Yes, sir. Ship them all. We're gonna take them out a whole new door.
yeah, it just kind of confuses the consumers. I know, confused, my ass.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like, where is it, man? And
it
you
got
too,
me too.
obviously. Yeah,
Hey,
because that film would have been amazing in Dolby Atmos. Oh my
oh, it would have been
goodness.
perfect. It was honestly the audio design on it was mixed so well. But I guess
Yeah.
that stuff I guess does happen. I think that in the United States there's only like one, maybe two people who printed discs here, and maybe that just
Wow.
kind of gets lost in the communication when they put like the Atmos label on it, and they actually don't actually print that track. Maybe something in the communication through those lines. It's the only thing I can think of. It just seems to happen a lot with Shout and Scream Factory more than anybody else.
Yeah, yeah. And plus those labels, they print out a lot of the movies that we're kind of interested in. The horror genre. There's like, I have like all the movies, Scream Factory horror movies, except for Skyline, which I know is a terrible movie, but like I have all of them. I used to have them displayed up here, but then I got so many box sets and everything. This is kind of like my little movie showroom. And so, yeah, my wife, she built an incredible office. And so we kind of did that a little bit, and mostly her because she's phenomenal. Talked about it, and part of the design is that I really wanted to display some of my box sets, and I did a video just not too long ago of them, and then you can kind of see over here, I just went like berserk on box sets and just stuff that I've always wanted to get. And basically, I'll kind of go into it, is that when I first became a collector, physical media collector, I what was the first damn movie I got? I think it was Serenity. I got Serenity because if I knew that if I could get my wife hooked, or at least interested in it, it wouldn't be that bad, at least for me, to get more movies, right? And so I think that's what we tried to partner, at least a little interested in it. And that's what I did. And, I didn't have like a good TV. Yes, it said 4K, display, it was like a Samsung, like a cheap 4K TV, and it looked good. But then like when I got, financially stable a little bit more, I was able to OLED TV, and then of course I got another one. But then I upgraded my sound system, and basically once I did that, I just went crazy because I started collecting in 2019. I want to say like middle of 2019, pretty late, because
Yeah.
I think 4K was out like in 2016, something around that. And so I was kind of late into the scene. Just a couple movies, and then, like I said, once I upgraded my TV and audio and everything, that's when I just went crazy. And I'm sure with a lot of us other physical media collectors, once the pandemic happened, so before collecting physical media, I'm a big paddler. I went to a lot of dragon boat races, outrigger races. My club, we traveled through the Northwest. I went to an outrigger race in Hawaii. So that's where a lot of my finances went to. But when the pandemic happened, that was just obviously scary for everyone, but it made us like stay home. I spent a lot of my money on movies, for my wife and I, for my kids, and everything else like that. And that's when I just accelerated into becoming a physical media collector.
Oh, that's crazy. I actually didn't. I thought that you were like a lifetime collector, like a lot of people in the community. I didn't realize that you transitioned that way. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I collected DVDs. I had 400, like an okay amount of DVDs. My dad got me into movies, so I can thank him for being very passionate about films. I saw, because of him, my first damn horror movie was Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a kid in kindergarten, and that's just something that I always remember. And then I've said in multiple videos of my own videos, is that growing up in the 80s, it was just kind of different, man. And I know you and your mom, you guys' relationship was kind of close because of horror, and so that's how it was with my dad. It was just him and I at the time, and I just watched horror movies and martial arts films and everything, and that's why I mentioned in my other video, like Bruce Lee set. I'm very grateful and thankful, of course, of my collection, but my most important piece is the Bruce Lee set, just because of how much it means to me, spending time with my dad and just everything else like that. Like, it's very sentimental, and plus it's a badass release by Arrow. But yeah, and I think that's one thing that kind of connects all of us together, physical media collectors, is that there's a piece or multiple pieces that means a lot to us. Just like that one, I'm pretty sure there's a movie that you have that means a lot, in regards to that is either meaning for your mom or, even your wife, stuff like that. So
there's plenty in my collection of, like for me, obviously, like E.T. was one of the big ones for me growing up. That was one I shared with my mom. So when that came to 4K, had to have that right away. But, like a film series, like it's funny that A Nightmare on Elm Street's the first one you ever saw. That was the first horror film I ever saw, too. So,
oh, no way.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it in the 80s. I saw it in the 90s,
Okay.
but I have a very distinct memory of, I actually watched it with my cousins, like me and my younger brother and my cousins. We watched that at a sleepover, and like we just rented it from Blockbuster, saw the box art, and we rented it. Like that's like, one thing that we're talking about here today is like packaging, and the packaging sold me on A Nightmare on Elm Street. That was the first time I ever saw a horror film. Scared the hell out of me. But
yeah. Just the packaging, is that, and you mentioned Blockbuster. I when I lived with my dad in high school, we had a Blockbuster not too long ago, and so of course at Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, they always had like cheap ass movies, like 2 for $20 or even 2 for $10 or whatever it was. And so when I looked at the cover, the packaging or whatever, it just you kind of like gravitate towards the ones that really interest you. And so part of those 400 DVDs that I had, some of them are obviously bad movies, but I thought the cover was pretty dang cool, and reading the synopsis, it sounded pretty interesting.
That's one thing about, like, because the way you collect is a little bit different than me. I always feel like you opt for like whatever the best packaging is that you could find, whereas sometimes I'll be like, I'll just get the standard slipcover, and then like later on I'll probably regret it. But like when you were I watched your video of like all your box sets, and I was like, oh my god, like the one that got to me. And it's funny because I only really liked the first one in the franchise, and the box set was so gorgeous, was your Jurassic World box set. That was beautiful.
Dude. So yeah, I'm a double dipping sucker, man. I'm just gonna be upfront. I wasn't always, of course, but growing up, and now I'm able to have the financial means to get some of these movies that to get better packaging. And like I said, I brought it up earlier, is that once we have this display shelves and everything else like that, I, of course, am an idiot, and I want to have like the best packaging out there and to show it off, because whenever I bring someone to our room and everything, like I'm like a little kid. Look at my movies, look at all these things, and so yeah, I'm very prideful of what the collection that I have, and I love to show it off, and just like you and other content creators, there's not a lot of people that we kind of know that and are that's near us that have the same passion of movies or collecting. And so that's one of the reasons why I went onto YouTube, is to meet and connect with other people like yourself and everything else like that. And so, again, thank you for the video, for today's video, but it's also hopefully I get to connect with your crowd as well, because I am part of your crowd, and that's how we connected. And Mike, no,
Matt,
Matt, yeah, you just went on a trip with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I always commented on your guys' comments and everything else like that for I think right from the beginning, or like maybe a month after you guys started. But yeah, joined you guys for a long time.
Oh yeah, it's a whole different channel than when we first started. Oh my god. Yeah, we had the growing pains hard because we didn't know a thing when we started. Know how to film, edit, none of that. So it's definitely crazy. And like, you yourself, like how your channel started, you seem to just naturally get it. Like it seems like, but you know what, you seem like a cool person, so your personality always comes out.
When you're a new content creator, like you just get fucking nervous, man. And I think and that's just natural, right? And so I think why I like this type of format, we're just having like a natural conversation, and that's why I like these type of videos, because when I'm making like a video, I know, like, I feel like I'm kind of getting comfortable, but sometimes when I watch the damn video, it's like I sound like a robot or something like that. And so you because when you're recording, it's just you and the camera, but with this type of format, you're actually interacting with someone, and it helps that, I've talked with you, or at least communicated with you for a couple of years now. And so, yeah, I think it's just like talking obviously to like a friend. And so, yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I already knew you, even though we haven't actually spoken. And it's funny because of the physical media world, like you live literally on the opposite side of the United States. So it's like
Yeah.
there would be no other way we'd even like talk. I've talked this with David before too. Like, he lives in Ireland. Like there'd be no way without like modern technology that we'd ever even be able to know the other person existed. So it's crazy what we can do. And
Yeah, and that's the beautiful part about social media. I've connected with a lot of people on Twitter, and of course with you guys on YouTube. Is that that's one of the beautiful things about social media, is that you're able to connect with people who kind of think like you, or have like the same interests, and that you're just not able to have within your own local area. Yeah, I love it so far.
Yeah, you don't realize how boxed in you are, like in your local community, until you like get to expand it. Like, it's crazy. That's why me and Matt became so close. Is like he was the only person that had like similar interests to me. Like, and then but it was also funny because like me and Matt would have those interests, and then like in this physical media community, there's not too many other sports fans. That's why it's funny that you're such a big 49ers fan.
Oh man, yeah. All I know is recent pain. Jesus, just with the Niners and the Blazers, man, and I'm a big Oregon Ducks fan, and everything else like that. It's like we kind of get to where we're supposed to, and then we just can't get over the hump, for that championship. And you're a Jets fan, so you already know pain.
I only know pain. All right, between the Jets, I'm a Jet fan. I'm a Knick fan. So I'm a Met fan. If they lose in New York, that's the team I root for.
Oh, that's funny, man.
It's horrible. That's what I mean. Hey, we got you your old defensive coordinator as our head coach, and I like him, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, he's great. Solomon, yeah, Salah is an awesome, or he was a fantastic defensive coordinator for us, and everything. I mean, I can talk about movies and sports all damn day, dude. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys just create defensive coordinators out there. You sent D'Amico Ryans to Houston. All of a sudden, that team's a playoff contender. So I don't know.
Dude, he just won Coach of the Year, and CJ, the quarterback, just won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
freaking great, man.
They deserve it. I mean, it's incredible. Like that team was garbage 2 years ago, and they turn it around.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. I mean, hey, it's fun though that there's other people out there who also watch sports, because I always feel like I'm on an island. Physical media sports, not much of us.
Pretty much. But yeah, man, how did you start getting into collecting?
Well, what happened with me was I always my family always it was only in my mom's, not my dad's. My parents were divorced, so I went household to household. She always collected VHSs, whatever, just kind of what you were saying, you could pick them up for cheap. So my mom would always have the sequels to movies, and she would never have the originals. I think I've told this before. We had Speed 2 Cruise Control.
I do believe we have a miss.
Impossible!
We had Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. If there was a sequel, my mom somehow always had the sequel and never had the original. It was always the weirdest thing. We'd always have to go rent the original.
Yeah, it's so funny just looking back, is that my mom always had Disney movies for my sister, but then she also had my mom more so of those blank tapes and just record 2 or 3 movies on the blank tapes. My dad was actually more of actually purchasing the movie instead of putting it on a blank tape and everything. But those are awesome times, man. Except for obviously rewinding the damn tape. But
oh yeah,
you could stack those movies up, and it was you could just have a nice marathon of movies. It was fantastic.
I loved it, but I was born in the VHS era, so those were already out. But then when I was old enough to start collecting on my own, DVDs were pretty much out. And then I started my own DVD collection and got the itch for collecting. But then kind of when I was all through my childhood. Then when I turned 18, I had to leave home, so I kind of just lost my entire like early Blu-ray collection. I sold it and everything, and then it wasn't until like 2012. Me and Faith had been living together for a year and started to get a little bit more money, and I decided to go back and I decided I'm gonna start a Blu-ray collection. And honestly, ever since then, that's really been it. But it didn't really take off to where it is now until 4K Blu-rays in 2017. An Xbox, I think it was a One S, and it had a 4K player in it. 4K is to test this out. So didn't have the greatest TV or 4K player yet, but, I was sold right away on the format. Like, I saw Unforgiven, and I was like, that's it. I'm collecting.
Yeah, one thing, because I know you're a gamer, a game nerd as well. We have a lot of damn stuff in common, but
yeah.
Also is that just the access of the consoles, of how they were, you're able to play Blu-ray or the HD format with Xbox, right? In the beginning.
Yeah, the 360 had the HD DVD player.
Yeah, and so that also helped with the collection. But just once, because it took me a long time to have the 4K player, the Panasonic UB 820. Before that, I always played it on the darn Xbox One, or of course the Series X or whatever. But they're just made it very accessible for people to kind of build that foundation. And then, of course, if you become like a serious physical media collector, or wanting it to have a better visual quality, you just kind of dive into another world of what the heck 4K player should you get and everything else like that. Like, it can get pretty complicated. You mentioned it, like it kind of just brought me back where I was an idiot and got rid of all my the DVDs, and now my 800 4K movie was Migration. I just picked it up for the kids just the other day. I just got Migration and Willy Wonka, which that 4K steelbook, dude. Oh, that's a great damn steelbook. Holy cow, it's pretty cool.
Oh, I know.
But anyway, yeah, I have like, and that's why I consider myself like a 4K collector. Like, I have a ton of 4K movies and trying to build my Blu-ray collection, because after getting rid of those DVDs, I basically started with 4K, and so I'm kind of working myself backwards in some aspects. And so I always wanted to get some of these movies that I had on DVD, like I had Dark City and Fight Club and stuff like that I've had on DVD, but didn't have it on Blu-ray. So you damn right, I got those movies on Blu-ray. Even like the cheesy 90s action films that I love, which is The Rock and all these Nick Cage films. They're just amazing.
You're speaking to me with those. I absolutely love The Rock, Con Air, Face Off. Those are all amazing.
Dude, I hope that there's an Armageddon 4K that comes out. Probably never happened, but jeez, man, that movie would sound amazing in Dolby Atmos.
You know that the Criterion Collection in the 90s released Armageddon?
I know. Was it you, or I can't remember. There was another person that put it on one of their videos, and I didn't know that until I saw one of the videos like a year ago or something. I'm like, holy crap, yeah, it's like one of the most prestigious labels to put out Armageddon. Like, what?
You don't think Criterion and Michael Bay. You just don't think that.
No way, man. That would surprise me if they put Transformers or something ridiculous.
The Criterion Collection would go down like 3 notches if they decided to go that route.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I watched Dark City last night after I saw Dune 2.
Oh, dude. Yeah, and there's some similarities in some ways. The Harkin or Hargarians, or I forgot their names, but like between the people and Dark City,
and
like
that white skin with no hair.
The exterior, exactly. I always recommend this Dark City because people forget, like, except for like us, like film people, but like Dark City and The Matrix came out in the same year, and I honestly missed Dark City when it came out. So The Matrix, I actually skipped school. I skipped class and went to the theater. How old was I? 18 or something like that? This came out in 99.
Yeah.
99. And so like I skipped class. went to the theater. I was like was it one? I was the only one or one other person at the movie theater. One of the most memorable theater experiences because at the time, The Matrix, it was basically, at least this is how I remember, kind of like word of mouth. I don't remember like these big advertisements or anything for it, but then all of a sudden, just because of how amazing that film is, it just like blew up and it was just phenomenal. And obviously, a second win to Keanu's movie career. And now he has a damn third one with John Wick. Jeez, man.
He just doesn't go away. Like, you know, we're going to forget about John Wick, and he's going to be, like, on a down run for, like, 10 years, and then he's going to pop up as, like, someone's father in a movie, and it's going to be like, oh, it's Keanu again.
Yeah. I'm just hoping he doesn't have, it's not like Liam Neeson in his later years, because, oh, man.
Oh, my
like,
God.
He's a phenomenal actor, like, one of the best actors of all time, but a lot of his recent films are all the damn same, man.
Rinse, repeat, and he's looking older and older. But I heard that he's going to be in the remake of The Naked Gun, so that could work.
We'll see. Yeah, there was a thing on Twitter about all these remakes. You know, The Crow, Naked Gun, and there was like another movie that's being remade that was pretty popular.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I saw this. I saw it because I was like, why would they do that? What was it? It was American Psycho.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Huey released this. 4, their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square.
Oh my goodness! And there's one American Psycho obviously is one of the best horror movies, or at least in my opinion. Kristen Bale's is flipping amazing in it. They want to modernize it, and I just felt pretty damn old when they said they want to modernize American Psycho. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, I mean that's a movie that shouldn't be remade at all.
I didn't even think, like, when I saw that I was like, no, they'll stop. Like, I actually already wrote it off because, like, first of all, the movie only came out in 2000. I guess maybe it doesn't feel that long ago to me now. I don't know.
It really doesn't, man. Like
24 years ago, so I guess I'm trying to think, like, so 2000, 24 years before that was, oh my God, it's 1976. Were they making they were remaking Spider-Mans and Superman, so I guess it's on course, but still feels too soon.
It makes sense, but yeah. I think for people who, like, for us anyway, like, it's just one of those films that just shouldn't be, like, remade. Like, for you, like, it would be like if they try to remake E.T., like, that would be blasphemy. Right?
It absolutely would be. But they've already remade 2 of my top 10 favorite films of all time with Poltergeist and RoboCop. So, you know. Yeah. So they've already dipped their finger. And, you know, the Terminators had some bad sequels. So I'm used to disappointment.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask, because when we talked prior about packaging and stuff like that, what's one of your favorite packages that you have?
I honestly love the Columbia Classics collection packages. I love what they did with those. Like, they're pricey, but I love how they put those in there. They're in those thick magnetic cases, and then each one has their own unique slipcover that's only with those collections. You know, For me, those are the ones that I cherish the most. And I also like the Sony Classic set. I mean, you have that too. I love that. Same thing where it's like, you know, a collection of films, and then they all have their own unique packaging for that set. So if they ever get re-released, they won't have those slipcovers. I always like appreciate things like that. But then also the Friday the 13th Scream Factory set, which is right behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also one of my favorites, just because you say you started collecting in 2019, but that set, for a long time, there was a set before it that went out of print, and it was like hundreds of dollars to buy on eBay. So when that finally came around, it was just like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and it's I got it maybe a year or close to a year actually after it came out, and I didn't really know anything about it. All I knew is that I had wonderful memories watching the Friday the 13th series with my dad. And even one of the first films that I can remember, which is a terrible film, at least in my opinion, but I still like it, is Jason Goes to Hell. I just have really good memories of that with my dad. And so when I got this, reading up about it, it's just, it's a miracle we even got that set because of how many labels and, you know, what Scream Factory had to do. Because one of the things that I hope to God that we get is The Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh my
you
God.
know, 4K set because, you know, I have the DVD release here. They came out with a just a terrible Blu-ray set. One of my friends, physical media people, is Keith from Euphoria Pictures. Weeks ago, put out just an amazing video of a set that he has that's from Germany. It's a Blu-ray set of each movie. It's fantastic, man. And that's one of the things that I did. One of my earlier videos, I put out 4K movies that were only released internationally. Like I have it on there, like Phantasm. A lot of people don't know, like Phantasm is on 4K, but it was only released in Germany. And that's one thing that I kind of love is that as a physical media collector, is that there's that thing when you first start collecting, and you mentioned it before, is like you go to Best Buy or you know these other type of stores to get whatever they had on the shelf, and then you kind of just expand your horizon. And that's what I did. Is that I first bought movies at Best Buy. Hashtag rest in peace to them.
Oh yeah.
And once I got into more of a being a serious collector, I just dove into the crazy world of collecting that I had no idea. I love these certain type of movies. I want to own them again. And then once you own them, there's those packaging that you're like, I love this packaging. I need to get it. And then unfortunately, there's those parties like eBay that you pay those eBay prices, you know, if you can get them. And for some of these box sets, that's what I did. You know, I'm not gonna lie, that's what I had to do,
Yeah.
just because I was so late to the game, in that regards. And so I just love my set. I love the boxes. Like even this Halloween, the Michael Myers DVD set, I put out a video on that, unboxing and everything else like that, like a couple weeks ago. But that is flipping amazing. Saw that on Twitter, from one of my friends in the horror group, and I was like, holy crap, I got to get that. And it's a beautiful themed display piece for the franchise, and I was very surprised not to go off guard a little bit. And again, I could talk about movies all day long. The Halloween Rob Zombie, I hate the Rob Zombie films.
In the cage and pissed up on the stages, only one go away.
I don't like him at all. And the first film that I thoroughly enjoyed, and it surprised the crap out of me, was Rob Zombie's Halloween, his first one. Oh my God! Like I watched it. I watched it a few years ago. I hated the beginning of the film. I thought the dialogue was very. I thought it was terrible. The acting was they were just annoying, and I just switched the channel. And so you know, once I started collecting, got the franchise and everything else like that, I got this Via Vision set right here, from Australia. Again, packaging. It's all about this damn crap. Because you know you kind of look the internet for all this type of stuff, and this was again released in Australia. This set, it's the Ultimate Edition, and you can get the theatrical and the uncut versions, this is the only packaging that you can get those on, which I didn't know.
I only got the ones that came in that Halloween box set that you actually, I think, have separated, but I have them in one package. They came out at the same time. Actually, I can see. Hold on. This is how mine looks.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Okay, yeah.
So this is where my Rob Zombies are. So like they actually released these at the same time, where they had them individually packed, and then I think and then you made that. You actually in your video you made that Michael Myers house. That was amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know how you did that. Could never do it. I'd screw it up so many different times, but that was beautiful.
Dude, it's not actually that bad. I got that on Etsy, and when I opened the box, I was like, where's the damn instructions? And then because of technology, everything's online, and there's like QR code, and
of course
you scan it or whatever, and so there's like a little video of you know how to build it and everything else like that. So that's what I did, and it was actually pretty simple, and you know super glued the pieces and everything else like that. So all in all, it was actually the assembly was pretty quick. Yeah, highly recommend it if you're a big Halloween fan. Like like I am, and people get kind of pissed growing up. That's the one thing too about movies and everything, is that when you watch movies as a kid, I literally just did a video today, the horror movies that scared me as a kid, and when you watch movies when you're younger, you just kind of remember snippets, like especially when you're a kid, you're like remember like some of the horror aspects or something that scared you or things like that. But like when you grow up, you just appreciate the actual film for what it is and everything else like that. That's what Halloween is because what I was kind of getting at is that people get pissed at me when the first Halloween that I actually saw was, I think it was Halloween 5, and yeah, it was like 4 and 5, and those used to be like my favorites, and people used to get pissed because they're like, you haven't seen like Halloween 2 and the original Halloween, and so obviously I had to go back and everything else, but it was who you're living with, right? And my dad, what I could remember as a kid is that like I remember watching Halloween 4 and 5 with my dad, and I don't remember watching the earlier ones with him, but I remember those, and those used to be my favorite for the longest time.
I mean, nostalgia is a powerful thing, and I don't think people ever really understand that. Like, you could love a movie from when you were a kid, and then you look up, and like it's got like horrible reviews, and nobody ever talks about it.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's this Richard Pryor movie. I don't even think it's got a Blu-ray release. It's called Moving, that me and my mom will still talk about to this very day.
The kitchen! Where's the kitchen? They took the goddamn kitchen!
Everybody hates it. The only time I've ever heard any of the critics I like bring it up is specifically go out of their way to bring up that it's a bad Richard Pryor movie.
Oh, dude.
But I watched it as a kid, so I loved it.
Yeah, I just remember, Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, and then I thought of Gene Wilder and Blazing Saddles, and I just, like, nostalgia. Like, I just remember watching that with my dad, and Blazing Saddles is flipping hilarious.
It is.
But, oh my God. And that movie wouldn't be made today.
Oh my God, no! Are you kidding me? They're throwing around the N-bomb like crazy in that movie. Even though they're doing it to basically make a point about how the Old West, like, what black people would be like. But of course, in today's world, you got to be a little bit more careful than what they were in the 70s.
Speaking of that, just really quick, that I just watched Candyman 2021. Just what the Candyman lore, what it represents with the within the black community, and how gentrification and all the crazy deep stuff like you don't realize when you're a kid, like. And the special features for people, I know 2021 Candyman kind of got a lot of shit. I really like that film, and I remember when I initially saw it in theater, I was disappointed with like a lot of people at the time, just because Candyman, the movie and the villain, is my favorite. Without a doubt, Candyman is my favorite villain, horror villain.
Be my victim.
Candyman, the movie, is my favorite horror movie, and so there's like a special connection, at least I feel, of course, with Tony Todd playing Candyman, and then watching Candyman 2021. Reaction was, well, what the hell? Where the hell is he? And then, of course, if you watch it, at the very end, like he's fucking there. But like, I just remember not liking the film for a little bit, and then I bought the 4K and I rewatched it, and I really loved the film. And then the special features, I don't know if you've seen the special features of the 2021 film. There's a lot of good special features, and Tony Todd does a few, I think he does like 4 videos of him just talking about Candyman. Special features are flipping awesome. Sorry to go off a little bit, but
listen, I wanted to hear it because it's funny because Candyman's also my favorite horror film of all time.
Oh, I know.
And I actually did like 2021's Candyman, like the first time I saw it. Like I kind of liked that direction. Like I didn't we were at the time where they were doing these, they're naming them the same name, like they did it with Scream. So I kind of had my expectations a little low. So then when I saw it, I was like, that's not bad at all. I enjoed the cinematography of the whole thing. I like
Good,
it's beautiful,
man.
Right? I love Yahya
like...
Abdul Mateen II. He is great as I really enjoy him as an actor. So I was into it, but then yeah, like you said, it took a while for I think people now revisiting and appreciating it a little more.
The director Nia, I forgot
DaCosta?
her last name. Yeah, it's beautifully shot, man. Like it's beautifully directed. She went into how she just wanted to, and her and Jordan Peele wanted to kind of go in a little bit of a different direction. And looking back at it now, I thought it was beautifully executed, and I loved how they had different variations of Candyman because Candyman, the lore, right? It's centuries. I mean, it's hundreds of years old, and so obviously it can't just be like the same Candyman. And so there was 5 different Candymans they brought up, and then how Nia directed and shot the film, and the beautiful paintings that again when I initially saw the film, I thought they were okay, but like rewatching it, I was like, damn, these are like beautiful paintings. I've grown to really appreciate that film a little bit more. So that's why I really hope that other people rewatch that film, or just films in general that like where they hated or disliked the film initially, like kind of go back. Like a film that I hate and I still hate. I gave it 2 chances. 3 chances actually was Skinamarink. I hate that damn movie, man.
You
But
gave
anyway,
it 2 more chances than I gave it, so. But I actually know
dude.
somebody who loves that movie. Actually, it was somebody who won the giveaway on the channel. Like, they won the Blu-ray, and I sent it to... I bought the Blu-ray, and I was like, I don't like this, so I'm going to give it away. I appreciated it, but yeah, it's not for everybody. If you can get behind it, I guess it's for you.
Yeah. Yeah, man, this is awesome. I
had a great time. I know you got to go catch Dune 2 again.
Yeah, super nerd. Oh, yeah, I literally just watched it last night, and I bought tickets to see it today. The next day, and so my wife and I are gonna see it, and I can't wait, man. I'm trying to edit a video for it because I'm putting out my first film review for it, and that's how much I love it. It's like, I guess, love it enough where I'm gonna make a video about it and just talk about it within the community. I loved it. So
I liked it. I gave it a 9 out of 10 on mine, so I really did love it. I'm gonna definitely revisit it.
Yeah, you just posted your video. I just saw that right before coming on.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it was, I really loved it. I can't wait to see it again. I was just like, I'll wait till the 4K since I'm going to review it again. But, I don't have the time to set another 3 hours.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, man, this has been a blast, man. I hope to talk to you again in this little format, or if people like it or whatever. So,
I mean, even if people don't like it, we can keep pushing them because you know what? I had a great time talking to you, man. I really did. I'm glad we finally got to actually communicate like this.
Yeah, no, this is great because I love movies. I love physical media, and it's the reason why I made a damn channel to connect with other people, and it's just fun. And I'm really looking forward to building my channel and just connecting with more people like you, John, and everything else like that. So that's why I said I really like this type of format, because you really get to know the person instead of just watching like a simple video. So
yeah, you don't get to know the person behind the video. That's why I like doing these a little bit too. I really do, and I feel like I know you a little bit more, man. So I appreciate this.
Oh yeah, man, and I can come up with themes and everything else like that, and we're like a little series because, like I said, I love talking about movies and especially horror and everything else like that. And you have some good videos with your the 2 other people, Salem's Seller,
Carmela, my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. And then we got the ones with David, but I'm always looking for new people to always do these videos with because they're fun. I like to try. I eventually want to get to the point where I could put like one of these out a week. But let's pencil it in so that we'll at least make sure we do one of these a month because I really enjoy doing it. So that at least we could do at least one a month at the minimum, if that works for you.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, hell yeah, that works for me. That'd be awesome.
you know, we'll come up with a topic, but we could just do things like this where we're bouncing between movies. It just felt good to talk about different movies, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
So
same here, buddy.
anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here with me and Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews. Make sure you guys head over to his channel, and if you're watching this video on his channel, make sure you go over to Let's Talk and subscribe to both of us. Give us a follow, you know, turn notifications on, and, you know, everything like that, and we'll be seeing you around.